Hello, my name is Carrie Taminia, and this is episode 1 of the Love Alchemy Sessions. This series of videos is something that I'm putting together every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern for all of you out there who are interested in energy techniques, transformation, bringing more positive energy into your life, bringing more love into your life, and especially for giving you resources and assistance and awesome stuff along your own personal journey of self-love. I am a certified EFT practitioner, matrix reimprinting practitioner, and energy worker. I've been doing this work for about 10 years and recently have shifted my focus to relationships, love, dating, and self-love. But I want to welcome you here, whether or not you are in a relationship, if you're single, if you're married, if you're divorced, if you're happily married, if you're unhappily married. It doesn't really matter what your status is, because the very basis of this work about positive energy, self-love is for everyone. So I am thrilled that you're here. Thank you for joining me. And I want to jump right in and get to kind of the juicy stuff that I am being called to bring you today. In addition to my work as an energy practitioner, I am also a claircognizant and clairaudient intuitive, and so a lot of the information that I'm sharing with you is channeled or things that I'm guided to share with you. So I hope that this resonates for you, that it's coming to you at the right time in your life, and it helps you throughout this next week to really embrace your own journey and bring more love experiences into your life this week. The first thing I did to prep for this session was to pull a couple of cards for you. I didn't really have the intention to do that, to pull cards for this video, but I was pretty strongly prompted as I sat down in my little space here to pick up one of the decks that I have on my desk. I'm actually using the Soul's Journey lesson cards, which is one of the decks that I use. I like it because it's pretty universal and it gives a lot of breadth for the guides to come through and really talk about what we're meant to take from each lesson. So the two cards that I pulled specifically for today's work are Surrender and Change. And these two cards, the words that come along with the cards are surrender. I can release my need to control and change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. And as I sat down this week to prepare for this video, to prepare to bring you this experience and this information, I did a lot of channeling and meditating to really ask what it was that I was supposed to bring through. I really wanted to connect with guidance and really bring you the information that you are meant to have for this week. And the message that came through over and over and over again, it's confirmed for me by these two cards that I pulled before I got on the video, was that you are not broken. You are not broken. There is nothing wrong with you, and there is nothing that needs to be fixed. However that lands for you today, whatever part of you that resonates with, I really want you to kind of sit with it throughout today, sit with it this week, and really see what that brings up in you. You are not broken. And if you were to say to yourself right now, I am not broken, I don't need to be fixed, I don't need to fix myself, I am not broken, pay attention to what feelings and thoughts that brings up in you. You might feel a hell yes, I'm not broken, and it might totally resonate with you. There might be a part of you that kind of rejects that statement, that says, no, I am broken, or this part of me, or if I could just change this, or if I could just fix this, or that would be true if this would happen, or if I could change this about my life, or that sounds nice, but I'm just not there yet. And if those tail end statements come up, those yes but statements come up for you, I want you to just accept them. Just honor them, acknowledge them, and just take them for what they are. They're just indicators of where you are on this path. I see a lot of clients every week. I still offer one-on-one sessions, and the people that I work with are almost always coming to me because they want to change something about themselves, or they want to change something about their experience. And the message that comes through in my work over and over and over again is this idea of you're not broken and you don't need to be fixed. We're all on a journey. We're all moving on a path to embodying more of our authentic and our true selves. We're all on a path in this human experience that we're learning lessons and we're evolving and we're growing. But at no point along that path are you anything other than what you're meant to be. At no point along that path are you anywhere else than where you're meant to be. Every experience that you have in this human lifetime, whether it's positive or negative, whether it's a breakup or a new relationship where you get stood up, or it's a sad time or a happy time, whatever it is has been chosen for you, by you, in order to help you along this path, to further you along this path of personal evolution. But at no point along the path, and this is really important, are you broken. At no point along the path are you not full, are not whole. At no point along the path are you needing to be fixed or in need of repair. It just is where you are on the path and nothing more. If I am walking from point A to point B, if I were to leave this room and walk out the door, up the stairs into my kitchen, it just means that I'm walking from my office to my kitchen. It doesn't mean that while I'm on that path, while I'm moving from my office to the kitchen, it doesn't mean that because I'm in the living room along the way that it's wrong for me to be in the living room, or there's something wrong with me because I haven't made it to the kitchen yet. I'm along the path, I'm moving. And this, to me, this change card that we pulled in the beginning, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Because in order to fulfill why you're here, in order to fulfill more of yourself, you have to engage in a process of movement. There is no movement that we do as human beings that isn't some form of a process. And accepting that process and accepting that every stage and every step and every location and every experience along that process is appropriate. And not only is it appropriate, but it's chosen and intentional, is the first step to being able to make real, divine, lasting transformation in your life experience. Because we as human beings, we spend so much time, and this is the next important part. So I'm going to talk about the surrender card. This next important part is that we as human beings spend so much time trying to fix ourselves, because everything that we're surrounded by in the media, from our parents sometimes, from our friendships, from our interactions, from school to goal setting, everything is oriented toward getting us to work harder and longer and more and be better and improve and grow and lose weight and be prettier and have better eyebrows and better hair and a better butt, and everything is telling us how we need to change ourselves, how we need to fix ourselves, how we're not quite good enough, how we don't quite measure up to some invisible standard. And we spend all of this time and energy. There's a reason that the diet industry is the biggest industry in our country. It's because we are obsessed with fixing ourselves. And the people that come to me and they work with me, and I believe the people who are watching this video that are meant to hear this message are often suffering from the same obsession. They're often suffering from this, I have to fix this, I have to change myself, I have to be better and be more and be different. And your guidance is coming through, and they really want to tell you that you're not broken. They really want to tell you that you aren't anything other than what you're meant to be, and this experience that you're having right now is just a step along the path from point A to point B. And acceptance and surrender is the first step to bringing ease into your movement along that path. I want you to focus on bringing ease into your movement along the path. There's a funny thing. We have a funny habit. And I want you to think about this. I would invite you to think about this as you go into your week. As you go to work, as you maybe see family or friends. Tomorrow is a holiday here in the States, and so you might see people and interact with people, you might have experiences, or as you go to work throughout the rest of the week, if you're a teacher or a student, you might be starting school this week here in the States. But I want you to notice that how many of the things that you want to change, how many of these processes of transformation and fixing that you engage on that start from a place of negativity, that start from a place of, I have a bad experience, and then I am compelled to make a change in my life. I'm compelled to do something different or be better or improve myself. We go about it all backwards. So if you were to think about, for example, maybe someone you know or yourself, the last time that you decided that you wanted to lose weight, however much weight it is, you decided this is it. I'm going to go on the diet, do the exercise program, buy the DVD, get the shakes, whatever the thing is that you decided you were going to do to lose weight. I can almost guarantee you, I could almost bet my career on it didn't happen. Your decision to make a change didn't happen when you were feeling good about yourself or hanging out with your friends or doing something really positive and joyful and really kind of enjoying your human experience. For most of us, that decision to change comes on the tail end of binge eating an entire package of Oreos on the couch and then feeling massive guilt about what we ate. And we decide that this is it. I had this terrible experience. I feel like shit about myself, and so now I'm going to do something different. The decision that you're going to finally, ask for a raise or change your job or quit the job that you hate doesn't come when you're engaged in a project and you're feeling awesome about yourself and you're being productive. It comes when you're stuck in traffic on your hour-and-a-half commute and you're going to be late again and there's nothing you can do about it, and it's so frustrating that you say, this is it. I'm going to switch the job. Your decision to finally deal with your money issues doesn't come when you're feeling abundant. It doesn't come from when you're feeling like you have everything that you need. It comes when you're stressing about your bills at the end of the month. And when you're engaged in that negative emotion, when you're engaged in that bad feeling, is when we decide that we're going to propel ourselves on this path of change, that we're going to try then to make effort to fix ourselves. And in reality, we're setting ourselves up for failure. Because not only do we not need to be fixed, but if we do want to make change in our lives, which is totally appropriate and totally acceptable, our brains are hardwired biologically to seek comfort and pleasure. And so when we start off with the energy of, I'm awful, I feel guilty, this is terrible, I hate this, I can't do this anymore, this desperation and this lack, then we're just infusing this entire process that we're about to try and force ourselves to engage on with that negative feeling and that negative energy. So how would your life be different? How would your experiences be different this week, even if you just did it for 1 week? If instead of looking at those changes that you needed to make from a place of lack and negativity and desperation, what if you could shift your perspective and look at those changes from a place of joy and from a place of excitement and from a place of, I am on a journey and on a path to embody more of my highest and best self. And this change would help me do that. What if instead of trying to make whatever change you're trying to make in your life, whether it's your relationships, who you're dating, your weight, your money, quitting a bad habit, whatever the change is that you're hoping to bring into your life, what if you could approach that change and whatever process follows it as another part of the process that you're already engaged in, another part on this path of embodying more of yourself and becoming more of your true self. And what if it became this process of focusing on and believing how amazing it would feel to make that change, how challenging and fun the process could be. And what if every change you wanted to bring in your life started with that energy and from that place? I can promise you that it'll be easier. But I also can promise you that making that shift isn't always easy, because we as humans have this terrible habit of wanting to make change from a place of guilt and fear and lack and desperation. Part of loving ourselves to the fullest extent is really understanding how to embody our truth as we walk through a process of being better to ourselves. And being better to yourself might mean that you're going to make some changes and some shifts and some adjustments. I'm by no means suggesting, and neither is your guidance, that self-love and self-acceptance and self-care just means you have to kind of give up and sit in a puddle and not ever do anything else or change anything or do anything you don't feel like doing. It really just means that the changes that you are being called to make in your life, if you're being prompted to do so, are intended to better you. They're intended to move you along this point A to point B path of embodying your full self. And when you bring ease and joy and excitement into that process rather than guilt and fear and desperation, it goes a whole lot different. Everything works differently. It feels differently. Suddenly it's easier to maintain, and you don't have to work so hard. And you can focus on being on the path and enjoying where you are and embodying more of yourself and more of yourself and more of yourself, rather than this sense that you are broken in some way or lacking in some way and that you need to fix yourself in some way. I want to challenge you and invite you this week to think about the changes that you are being called to make, or perhaps that you've been thinking about making, and as an act of self-love, to reframe those changes into something positive rather than something negative and desperate and fear-based. How can you reframe those changes into a place of love and support and acceptance and excitement? I want to invite you to do, I'm going to give you two things to do. Part of what I want to do with these videos every week is to really give you access to some powerful energy shifting techniques and meditations and work that you can kind of really infuse into your experience over the next week until we kind of meet again next Sunday. And so this week I want to do two things. The first thing I'm going to give you is a mantra. And a mantra is simply a set of words that you can use and repeat to yourself, write them down, maybe write it on your mirror if you feel so compelled. But you use a mantra to not only invoke the energy that you want to bring into your experience and into your life, but also to engage the parts of your mind and your body and your spirit that might be resistant to that level of change or to that idea. And once you can kind of get everybody on board, it really helps things kind of move a lot smoother. So you can use this mantra in any way you want. You can say it, you can speak it, you can write it, you could sing it. The one thing I do recommend is that choose at least one time a day, if not more, but at least one time a day, to say this mantra out loud. Out loud helps make our intentions more tangible. So say this mantra out loud, either in the mirror, while you're driving, doesn't matter when. And the one thing I do recommend is pressing or tapping on this acupressure point. It's between the knuckle of your pinky and the knuckle of your ring finger. It's kind of this soft hollow spot here. This is called your gamut point, and what it does is it is intentionally set to remove resistance to change. And so whenever people are using word-based mantras, I always invite them to kind of just press this point. You don't have to know anything about it. You don't even have to press it or tap it in a certain way. You're just putting pressure on this point. It's an acupressure point. And the mantra that I want to invite you to use is, I accept all of myself because I am love. And that might be difficult to say for some of you. And if it is, I just would invite you to honor whatever comes up, whatever feelings, whatever thoughts, whatever resistance comes up. It's there for a reason. It's not your fault. It doesn't mean anything about you. So if you honor those feelings and then just keep repeating, I accept all of myself because I am love. I accept all of myself because I am love. Because nothing about you is broken and nothing about you needs to be fixed. The second energy technique that I would love to invite you to do, it's an exercise over this week, is actually an exercise that combines kind of guided visualization with an acupressure technique called EFT. It's called Emotional Freedom Techniques, tapping for short, if you're familiar. And what this technique invites you to do is to visualize the change that you want to make. As an object, as a person, some representation of it, and to have a conversation with it. It's to help you reframe the change that you want to make from a place of negativity to a place of positive energy. And doing that exercise will reveal a ton of information to you about your own motivations, your own self, how your subconscious mind is really feeling about the change that you're hoping to engage in. And it can give you a lot of information and a lot of insight that will help guide you as you engage in that process of change. Remember that everything that you do, no matter how desperately you want to change it, you have created or you do for a reason. It solves some problem. It worked in some way. It's not your fault. And so as we engage in a process of change, we're going to break a habit, lose weight, fix our finances, change the way we date, change our relationships, whatever the change is, as you engage in that process, it is a lot easier and it goes a lot smoother if we honor that original habit or thing that we're considering unwanted for why it was created. And change goes a lot easier if we do it with surrender and with gratitude, and we transform our motivation from that normal negative human motivation to something positive, something divinely inspired and soul guided. I am going to include a link to that exercise, that change visualization tapping exercise, in the bottom of this video. So whenever you're feeling ready throughout this week to perhaps do that visualization, do that tapping exercise, I would invite you to simply save this link or come back to the video and click the link. All the instructions will be there. Read through all of them before you do it, and then just allow it to be an experience of gathering information. Allow it to be an experience of self-exploration to continue to move you forward on your path to amazingness and your path to love and your path to the life that you are desiring to have. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope that you do that exercise. Don't forget your mantra. I accept all of myself because I am love. And remember, as you kind of move through this next week, to give yourself grace and kindness. Remember that you are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. And that everything you're hoping to change in your life is a process that you're engaging in. It's part of your soul's experience on this human planet. And there's nothing wrong with where you are right now. You are exactly who you're meant to be and where you're meant to be in this moment.